Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to the Batty Tranquility Escalation taking place in Whittleton Creek. Mine is Mr. Freeze2244, and for this escalation we're going to need to pacify James Batty with his own package while disguised as the mailman. So the equipment we are going to use for this one is just the tranquilizer. We're going to start in the default location, and to unlock the Caliber 1 tranquilizer you need to complete 3 specific mission stories in Whittleton Creek itself. I think it will actually tell you in the mastery levels or something like that. I think it will tell you which particular mission stories they are. So once you've got all 3 of them, you can unlock the tranquilizer pistol for this, and you are going to need it really, because we need to get the mailman's disguise. And because he's talking to this dude right over here, it's best to smuggle along a tranquilizer and just take them both out really early. Just use this tree as cover and shoot them both. It doesn't matter if their bodies are found, because when you're using a tranquilizer, you can have their bodies detected and you'll still retain your silent assassin rating. So once you've done that, you would make sure you retrieve the package that the mailman drops on the floor and grab his disguise. And all we want to do now is head all the way up to James Batty and just basically throw this package right in his face. But just make sure you don't get spotted by the target, because we are not killing him in this level yet. So just make sure you don't get spotted by him when you are knocking him out with the package. And just keep that in mind, otherwise you will ruin your silent assassin rating for that. But level 2 and level 3 is where things start getting a little more tricky. But for level 1 it's fairly straightforward, and we actually figured this out quite easily, quite fast in the live stream. So it's just a matter of just leaping over that fence right there and making sure he doesn't see you as you throw it at his face or his head or whatever. Just make sure you knock him out with it. I'm just going to get behind him. And there we go. Once we've done that, we are going to just head straight to the exit there, and that will get a silent assassin rating for level 1. As you're coming through this grass here, we are in a trespassing area, so just watch out for these 2 at the end. We're going to stay crouched through the bushes as just before we come out, so that we can stand back up and then exit the mission. And that's an easy level 1 silent assassin for the Batty Tranquility. So let's just get a confirmation here before we move on. There we go. So let's go ahead and move on to level 2. And for level 2 we have an additional target. So that jogger that's running around the map, we need to pacify her with a rake. And we need to do that while we disguise the mailman as well. So this time we're going to start at the suburb sign while disguised as a gardener. And we're going to bring the same equipment as we did in the last mission. We are only going to need the Caliber tranquilizer pistol again for this one, but we are going to need to bring along the rake. And the rake is one of the most frustrating items to carry around the map, purely because if you drop it while you're standing, it will break and then you won't be able to pick it back up. So when we are trying to do things with it, we are going to make sure we need to crouch or place it on the floor before we do anything. Just like here, as you approach this tree, we need to crouch before we pull out our pistol, and then take out both of these guys here with a trank, and then retrieve our rake. Just grab the parcel that he drops on the floor, also grab his disguise, and making sure that we still have our rake in our hands, we can now move on to our first target, which is going to be James Batty himself. So the first part of this is not going to be any different. We are going to take out James Batty the same way. And for Amelia Garros, we are going to take her out a little bit further on around the back streets. I can't figure out a way to get her early, because as you know, since the last patch updates, I don't know if you are aware of it, I did make a video about it, but accident knockouts, the environmental knockouts, no longer retain your silent assassin rating if they get found. So that is obviously a bug, and hopefully they will fix that, but for now we can't actually do anything differently. We have to make sure her body isn't found. So once we come here again, make sure you crouch before you drop that rake. We're going to throw a coin in that direction just to get to James Batty to turn around, and then we're going to pull out our parcel, pull out our package, and throw the package at James Batty's head. Retrieve our rake, head to the back of the garden. We're going to leap over this fence here. We're going to grab a crowbar, which is not really necessary in this area, but we're going to grab it here anyway. It will just be laying on top of a barrel just here. Make sure you avoid everyone's line of sight here. But there is one in the bulldozer just ahead of us, so we didn't need to go through that area necessarily to grab that crowbar, because we are going to use the crowbar as an exit. Now, the reason why I'm exiting that way is because we need to exit pretty sharpish, because we don't want a body being found. So to place the rake, we need to place it around about here. So I don't know what the controls are on PC to place it, but on Xbox it's going to be LB and RB, and PS4 is going to be L1 and R1. So make sure it is laying straight on the path like that, so it goes in a path, so it just smacks her straight in the face. She does give you a little bit of time there, because she does stop, and she will eventually just run straight into the rake, and that'll be it. In the meantime, we're just going to go over to this manhole over here, pop it open with the crowbar, because it's that easy apparently. And as soon as she gets knocked out, we're going to exit the mission straight away, just to make sure her body doesn't get found immediately or whatever. But I'm pretty sure she's safe, at least for a while. But once we get through this little menu here, and confirmation of a silent assassin rating, we can move on to level 3. So level 3 is where things get a little bit more tricky, and I really did not like this in the live stream itself. So we have to pacify Aidan Kelly with our newspaper as the mailman, and we have to continue with the other 2 objectives that we did previous levels, and we need to dump all the targets in Whittleton Creek. We need to make sure we bring along the classic lockpick for this one, or any lockpick will do. The tranquilizer again, start the suburb sign, and smuggle any pistol at the park bench. Because we're going to need to use that pistol to take out a camera. So any pistol will do, just smuggle it in. Whichever the closest for you. But at the start, we're going to grab the rake, and the first things first, we need to get the mailman's disguise, and his package, and his newspaper that he dropped on the floor too. So getting Aidan Kelly was a bit of a pain in the ass, and I'll explain it a little bit later on as well, when we get there. But once we approach this tree, make sure you are crouched before you pull out your trank, otherwise you will break it. Just trank both of these guys right here. Pick up the rake, pick up a newspaper, pick up the package, and grab his disguise. Make sure your rake is still in hand, and head over to where the smuggle point is of where your pistol is going to be stored. And mine is just going to be stored over here next to this park bench. And again, once we retrieve the pistol out of the briefcase, make sure we are crouched as we retrieve it, and pick up the rake back again. Otherwise, again, if you don't crouch before you drop it, it will break. So we're actually going to head over to this house, this building over here right now, and we are going to use the lockpick on this door. The lockpick overall is probably not, you don't really need it really overall, because you can get around the back anyway, because that's what we're going to do a little bit later on. But there's a guard in this area, and there's going to be a camera in this area as well. We're a bit too slow to get the guard right now. If you're quick enough, you can grab him, knock him out before he goes inside. But for now, I'm just going to take out the camera. Retrieve our rake. And now we're going to head over to James Batty. Now for James Batty this time, you don't have to worry about him seeing you, because you are going to kill him a little bit later on. And because he's a target, he's not going to get you silent assassin rating. So you can just throw it straight at his head. He doesn't see us anyway, so that's cool. We are actually going to go out the back garden. We're not going to need the crowbar this time, because we are just going to exit a different way this time. We are a little bit behind the woman this time, but because she does stop, we still have a little bit of time to catch up and place the rake on the ground. And it's actually quite surprisingly easy to get her into the creek itself. I mean, we are quite far away from the river itself, but we are relatively safe to drag her over there. But yeah, I'm just going to place it on the ground like that. She's gonna run straight into it, and she's gonna make a hilarious sound, as she always does. It's probably one of the best reactions in the game to getting knocked out, which I found hilarious, and a lot of people enjoyed it during the live stream. I was doing all sorts of impressions and stuff. But yeah, once she goes down, we're just going to drag her all the way into the creek itself, just over here. You're not going to be able to drag her in all parts, just the little bits that have gaps in it. So you'll see a little gap in the river here, in the bank. You can actually just kick her into the river there. Because if there's a load of bushes there or whatever, you won't be able to kick her in. And it's the same with James Batty as well. So We purposely left Batty last because we don't really want to take him out. We didn't want to lose time on actually catching that woman up, so that's the reason why I left James Batty there for now. We can't go back through the garden because there's a construction worker there. So we are going to go back through the front and then jump over this wall. Or the fence, I should say. Head up to the porch and then drag his body and kick him into the creek. Again, it's just a little bit of a pain to do a bit of body dragging and stuff like that. It seems a bit like busy work to me. I'm not a huge fan of this escalation, really. Mainly because the third target, Aidan Kelly, and the fact that you have to drag a bunch of bodies around to dump them into this creek. But I don't think it's the worst escalation that we've played. So that's saying something, at least. So we took the cameras out earlier, and again we've not been able to catch up with this guard. We wasn't fast enough because we had to dump the body of James Batty. So the guard's gone back inside the building. So it should be the same for you as well. And once you get over this area over here, the target will be talking to a woman. We need to wait for her to finish talking to him. Otherwise we won't be able to distract him. Our idea is to get him into this area over here. But if we try and do it now, he will send the woman instead to go and investigate the noise. We initially tried to distract him with the newspaper, but that didn't work either, so we'll say that in a minute. So first of all, we're going to take out the guard. He can just pretty much just stay there, but we need to retrieve that newspaper because we're going to knock out the target with it. But now the woman's walked away from the target now, so we need to distract the target, so let's get him over here. So again, like I said, we used the newspaper, but he didn't hear that. So let's use a coin. Didn't hear that either. So we have to actually throw the coin at the fence. Then he comes over. Which is a bit weird because he came over straight away last time when I threw a coin on the ground. So I'm not quite sure why he didn't hear it that time. But once he does come over into this area, just make sure you close the door behind you. Then smack him in the head with the newspaper. That's the first part out of the way. And now the only final part of this is to dump his body into the creek itself as well. So just drag his body through the back garden, and there's going to be a gate around the back here, and we need to find a gap in the creek itself and just kick him in, and then we can exit. And that's our Silent Assassin rating for level 3. Overall, you know, figuring this out, it wasn't a lot of fun. Let's just put it that way. But I suppose you could say I made it look a lot easy here in the end, which is my job, so hopefully this is easy for you too. So we found a gap there, let's just kick him in. There's a couple of enforcers at the end here, so again, watch out for those. Just crouch through the bushes until you get out of the trespassing area, then you can stand back up, exit the mission, and then we get a Silent Assassin rating, and that's all 3 levels done Silent Assassin for the Batty Tranquility. So let's just get the confirmation before we leave it. Just to get our confirmation. Come on, dude. Batty Tranquility completed. All objectives completed. And our Silent Assassin rating. And now we can have a sigh of relief. Right, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to drop a like on this video if it helped you out. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. And hit the bell notification to be notified of all future videos and live streams. Consider supporting me on Patreon, or even becoming a member of the channel to get a little logo next to your name in chat, and some benefits too. You can also see all the information by clicking the join button below or clicking the link in the description for that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow. We've got a elusive target tomorrow, so I'll see you then. Take care, good luck with it, and I'll see you guys later. Cheers.